Okay, today we're going to be going over the setup for a PCA pump. You will need the Alaris pump itself. You're going to need the PCA tubing, the narcotic syringe, primed and ready to go 0.9 that will run alongside the narcotic. And then the last thing you'll need is the CO2 detector cannula, which looks like this in the packaging right here. So generally to set this up, you'll want to get a key signed out of the Pyxis, have that ready to go because you'll be able to unlock the door with the key. I suggest signing out the narcotic, and you may have to wait for this to get brought up to you from the pharmacy if it's not floor stacked in your Pyxis. I recommend hand priming this, and the first thing I like to do is connect your narcotic to the end of your PCA tubing, and then prime until you get to the Y site right here. So don't prime your narcotic to the very end, just prime till you get to the Y site. This short arm of the Y site is where you're going to be connecting your 0.9. So get that connected. And then you can continue to prime the tubing all the way to the end with saline. This is considered ideal by the manufacturer because when you turn your pump on and get it running, the machine thinks that this has saline in it and not narcotic. If you accidentally mix this up and prime this all the way to the end with narcotic, your patient will get a bolus. It'll be a small bolus, but it'll still be a bolus nonetheless. So try to remember to prime to the end of the tubing with the normal saline. Okay. Once you get this primed and ready to go, you'll want to get your pump turned on. You can see I've got this one turned on and the door unlocked. I've got the key in place. You will also want to get a wow into the room so that you can program this according to how the physician orders it. And you will also have to get this double checked and co-signed by a coworker. So this is my new patient. We're in the ICU or some other critical care area. So I have this pump turned on. I'm going to channel select my Alaris pump, confirm the time of day. If this is incorrect, you can change the time. And now it's asking you to install the syringe. So install it as pictured. But before you place your syringe into the syringe pump, you do want to make sure that this clear clamp is pushed out of the way. And this part needs to be brought all the way to the top. To move this up or down, just give this a twist. And you can move this up or down. Bring it all the way up to the top. And if this alarms at you because you're not programming it fast enough, just hit the silence button. So you want to be able to turn your syringe out so that you can see the barcode. If you haven't scanned this yet into Epic, go ahead and scan it now. And position this so that the flange slides underneath this gray metal plate. So I'm trying to get it in there pretty square. I have it pushed all the way in. I'm going to bring the top part down by twisting it and pushing it down. So now my plunger is grasped. And then I'll bring this piece around to kind of help hold the barrel in place. And once your syringe is in properly, you should be able to confirm it. If not, you'll have to look at the diagram to see what you've done wrong. So confirm. It will ask you some questions about the syringe size. So if that's what size syringe we're using, we're going to confirm it. And then we're going to select our medication. So in this case, we're going to say that our medication is Dilaudid. And you have the two concentrations to choose from, so be sure that you are selecting the correct concentration for what you are hanging on your patient. In this case, we're going to say that it's 20 and 50, which is most common. And then confirm. I do get an advisory pop-up just letting me know that I need to double check with this medication. This is a screen that's just telling you about the pause limits. And then now you can program your infusion mode. So you will have to see what is ordered by the physician. I would say that the most common mode is going to be this one right here, which is the PCA dose plus continuous. So they'll get a continuous amount every hour, plus they can bolus themselves with medication using the patient switch. So I'm going to select my mode, and then I have to enter in the different values. So let's say that my PCA dose that's ordered is 0.2 milligrams. My lockout interval that's ordered by the physician, let's say that's 12 minutes. My continuous dose, let's say that's 0.5 milligram an hour. The doctor does not have to order a max limit, but if they do enter one, same thing with loading dose. Once you're done with that, just hit confirm, and it tells you to close and lock the door. This isn't locking right now because I have to turn the key. So push your door closed and twist your key till it's locked. At this point, you can discard your key and put it back in the Pyxis machine when you're done. This will not start running on the patient until you push start. So you want to make sure that you've connected this to the patient's IV and unclamped everything. Okay, so we're going to press start. Everything's going to start running. At this point, you want to give the patient their switch, provide them with the education on how to use this, and then just keep in mind that when the switch is lit up like this, that means that the patient has a dose available to deliver. It will display on the screen when a dose is being delivered, and this light will flash. When the light is off, it means that the patient has no dose left to deliver. There, PCA complete. So make sure that this is given to the patient, and then you'll want to set up your cannula next for the end-tidal CO2. This particular cannula has a piece that can connect to an O2 flow meter right here. This is the piece that goes on the patient, and you want the scoop to face down towards their mouth. This is the end of the tubing that will connect to the Alaris module right here. So twist this door open. And then connect your tubing. You will have to channel select to turn this on, and it will start warming up and searching for a signal. We have a waveform displayed here on the monitor. You will not only get an end-tidal CO2 measurement, but you will also get a respiratory rate. And at any time you want to visualize this information, just press the channel select button, and it will bring you up to this screen. Now, this pump is designed to where if the patient's breaths reach 8 breaths per minute, you will get an alarm. If they reach 6 breaths per minute or fewer, it will alarm and turn off the narcotic. And right now I've taken my cannula off so that the machine thinks I've stopped breathing. So I don't have a waveform displayed on here. I don't have a respiratory rate displayed on here, and pretty soon I won't get an end-tidal measurement on there, and this will start alarming at me. So it's telling me no breaths. So we should be checking the patient if we get any sort of alarm like this. Now, if you do have a patient who wants to ambulate or eat without use of this, you can take the cannula off, but make sure that you're turning the channel off, and that will prevent any sort of nuisance alarms. But once the patient gets back into bed and they want to rest, make sure that you put the cannula back on them and turn the module back on so that we can safely monitor them while they're receiving narcotic. One of the other things to remember with the PCA pump is to do your shift totals. And to do that, you would go to channel select and then to the option button, and then you have the patient history right here. So display your history. You want to make sure that all this information gets documented. And then you're going to clear the history and confirm it. Once it's all cleared out, you're going to go to exit, and then you have to press start again. Your PCA pump will temporarily be on hold while you're clearing the history. If you don't press start, it will alarm at you. And then the last thing that I always go over with people, just as a reminder, that this pump, just like any other Alaris pump, does have a lockout button on the back of it right here. So if you have a patient or a family member who wants to play around with the pump or press the buttons on there, you can lock it out and prevent that from happening.